and good Monday and happy Magickal Monday and welcome to our fabulous weekly podcast with Lisa and Anton. Magickal Mondays.
Magickal Mondays.
Magickal Mondays, which means it's Monday and it must be magical.
And I have to say it, it's Monday again.
The weeks just keep churning by, don't they?
Wow.
They really do.
It really does seem accelerated.
It does.
The weeks go by like days and the months go by like weeks, and here we are like 1/3 of the year.
I know, 16. This is our 16th episode, and we started doing this.
Yeah.
We started doing this at the beginning of the year, if I recall. So yeah. Oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of people working. We figured out how to do a more seamless start. Did you notice? Could you tell our professionalism came up a little bit? a mere soupçon today. Gosh, who we got?
Good morning, Gilda.
Gilda. Hi, Gilda.
And
Gilda's a
Marmalena.
channel member, so big shout out to you. Marmalena, hello, welcome.
And
You should become
Wendy.
a channel member. And Wendy, hello.
And
Savannah. Savannah is a channel member.
Look,
So there you go.
Gilda and Savannah already got
They got their black cats now. Look at that. How about that? And you guys should have got. We apologise. It's the throes of the Mercury retrograde, isn't it?
It's coming.
Just we've had a couple of challenges. Our air conditioner, the big, huge. I don't know if you guys have been in the store, but you know we have this huge air conditioner downstairs. Oh my goodness!
Hi,
we've got
Anita. Hi, Cassie.
Hey, Cassie.
Hi, Anna. Anna's also got her black cat.
She's a channel member, so thank you. Welcome all. Welcome. This is wonderful. So yeah, we've been faced with the challenges of Mercury retrograde. It's always like the week before for us. So, gosh, what was the first thing? So, a couple of weeks ago, our main modem for our servers that pooped the bed for whatever reason. So Optimum, I think it was, had to come out and change it, and that was right in the middle of the last psychic fair. So I had to literally abandon somebody because they were supposed to be here at a given time and they decided to come at a completely different given time, but we couldn't sort of just leave it going. So I had to run out and take care of that. And then once they'd done that, for whatever reason, because we have static IP addresses, they'd shut off several ports. So what we thought we were sending email wasn't going anywhere. So
you didn't get your karma points emails.
You didn't get your karma points email until like a week later. We know you've
when
got
we
it.
said, it's really odd that no one has responded to their karma points.
We were sort of like incommunicado and unaware of that because probably nobody could say, hey, we didn't. People generally don't say, oh, we didn't.
Oh,
so,
and Rhonda's back. Hello.
Oh, hello. And a new channel member, Helena, she joined last week. Hello, thank you so much for that. So, so the other big annoying thing that happened this weekend is our air conditioner, of course, pooped the bed downstairs in the store, and that's a bit of a mammoth lift.
Well, thankfully it made it through the 2 hot days. But
yeah, and props to Greg and Linda for giving us a lift in there, because I've got a bit of strength, but just lifting a 150-pound air conditioner over my head and slotting it in the wall was, and I think the one that came out was even heavier. And of course I had to remove all of the casing and then recork it.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No,
today.
but
we're not here to talk about negative, crazy things.
We're not. No, we fixed it. We fixed it. So I think the moral to the story is, stuff's going to happen, isn't it? It just is.
Repeatedly.
And you can get your butt in your hands about it and sulk and throw your toys out the pram and all that sort of stuff. Or you can just get on with it and fix it. And I think, we do, fortunately.
You have to...
you do.
You have to attack the problem, not each other.
I think that's a good thing. I mean, that's not to say we don't have a crossword, because we do occasionally.
But there's no point being upset with each other over something that is an outside problem.
It's
right?
true. It's true. You just got to fix. So gosh, yeah. So thank you if you guys also on the shameless plug it front, especially our sweep team members. If you guys have been catching up with Lisa's rather fabulous tarot for tomorrow, which comes out every evening around 8 o'clock, when we're sort of messing with the absolute minute time, so keep your eyes open. It's sometime around 8 o'clock. But we would love it if you would share that everywhere. It seems it's getting a little bit of traction. We nearly crept up to like the 1,000 views within the first hour, which is kind of cool. That's the sort of marker that we're getting somewhere with it. So we'd love it. We want to be less of a well-kept secret because, as you know, we have plans for world domination.
I had that on my little list to talk about.
Hey, Geraldine, thank you for joining us.
Hello. I had that on my list to talk about, but it was much later in the show.
We're going to do that. We're going to talk about it twice or three times.
Today's cards
Ooh.
are all 3 major arcana cards. So the tarot for tomorrow for today, because I put it out the evening before,
I know what
is
you mean.
Judgment, Justice, and Temperance. So they're all big. You know, I always say when I'm talking about the tarot that the major arcana are kind of like the head of a paragraph, and the minor arcana fill in the sentences. So today you kind of have this theme of healing and balance and understanding. So I think it's a good day to kind of come to terms with things and figure out a just and fair way to address them in order to promote healing. And what's really interesting about the Tarot for Tomorrow clips is, you know, I lay the cards out and I'm speaking into my phone and I have to think on my feet and make sure that I don't go over 60 seconds.
Well, that's true.
And, you know, you guys who know us, we don't do much of any communication in less than 60 seconds. So it's kind of a challenge.
I get berated. I'm English, and apparently she often snatches the phone out of my hand and says, look, I'll speak to them.
Oh, yeah. He'd be talking flowery, 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 flump,
Oh,
flump,
shut
flowery, 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 flump, flump. And I'm like,
See what I
no,
have to
you
live with?
have to do this in New York style. This is what I need. This is when I need it by. Can you do that? Not flowery, 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 and they don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. I can be brutal in explanation, believe me, I can.
Right.
Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you just told them. Ask them to tell you what you've told them. Hopefully they got it then.
Go very army. Yeah.
That's it.
Sometimes
That's
you have to
the
do that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm sure that most of you people who are tuned in are tuned in.
Oh, haha. I see where you went with that.
You may have been noticing this kind of edgy Aries energy.
There's been a lot of freneticism, I will say that. Is it like angst and freneticism and people just generally being a bit antsy? Is that the word? I don't know.
And Aries is ruled by Mars.
Say no more.
So if we think of, you know, Mars's symbol, it's the circle with the arrow shooting out of it. So there is this kind of like whoosh, things really moving, you know, things really going quickly. And in response to you, Gilda, who said, I don't remember time going as quickly when I was young. It's very true. But someone once said it's all about the percentages. When you're 5, a year is 20% of your life. But when you're 50, it's only 2% of your life. So because you have that much more memory, and it's that less
it's all
a
relative,
percent.
isn't it? It's relative. Yeah.
That time does go by really, really quickly. I mean, you think about it, 2% would be gone much quicker than 20%. Anyway, so this Aries energy, woo-wee.
Geraldine sent me flowers.
Geraldine sent you flowery, flowery.
Well, thank you. Shut up.
Flowery, flowery, flowery.
I'm not that flowery. I speak eloquently, I hope. I try. For a brummie.
Right.
I try.
All right.
It's my excuse. Anyway, coming back to what you were saying.
Well,
Mars and all that malarkey.
The astrology stuff that I have to talk about today is, here's my page of
She made notes. Oh, no, it's there.
Oh. You know, it's like all these symbols on the page.
We need a tally light. That's what we need.
So there's a couple things that are really important that make this eclipse a little different.
Oh, you mentioned eclipse, eh?
Yeah. Right. Okay, so the first thing we'll say is there are solar and lunar eclipses.
I know the difference, I do.
Oh,
But
what's the
do you?
difference then?
Well, a solar eclipse is where the sun is eclipsed, and a lunar eclipse is where the moon is eclipsed. But the moon is the one that does the eclipsing, which is really bizarre. But you have to think about it. Solar eclipses occur where the moon crosses the ecliptic at a new moon, so it's conjunct with the sun. So the moon gets in the way of the sun, because of course the moon is somewhat closer to us than the sun. However... Oh, shut up. Okay, see what I'm saying? She's saying flowery, flowery, flowery.
Oh, yes! Because I just get the difference is a
Carry on,
solar eclipse happens at a new moon, and a lunar eclipse happens at a full moon.
So you don't want me to explain the mechanism then?
Oh my goddess!
There is a mechanism here. Anyway, so the moon is on the ecliptic, conjunct the sun, and gets in the way of it, which is what's about to happen with a solar eclipse.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've all got that, right? You all understand, you even know what an
Look.
ecliptic is?
Moon, sun. Ooh, in the way. Does that make sense?
Good Lord. Okay, so we know that a new moon happens when the moon and the sun are in the same place, right? A new moon happens when the sun and the moon are in the same place. So this new moon that's happening happens when the sun and the moon are both in Aries. And a full moon, I think you got some more flowers.
Someone just
I literally just went, wait, what? Flower, flower, flower.
Come on. No. Stop it. You lot are cruel. You're a tough audience, okay? Just because I can explain the mechanism of a bleeding solar eclipse. The moon is on the ecliptic in the same place as the
People
sun.
would have to know what an ecliptic is, so just give it up. I'm talking in
We do cover that in the Craft of the Wands. I'm just saying.
Goddess. Goddess.
Let's
Okay.
just be aware of these.
Right.
Monday brain. What are you on about Monday?
And a full moon happens when the moon is opposite the sun.
Mm-hmm.
But the moon is still reflecting the sun's light even when it's full. Okay.
Well, it is. That's...
So we have that down. We know that. Okay. So we're having a new moon this week. Right? Depending on where you are in the world, it's either going to happen on the 19th or the 20th. And because it's so late in the day. It's also the second new moon in Aries, but it's at a very different
very
time
Very late.
in Aries, right? So the first new moon in Aries that we happened to have was very close to the equinox, right? Equilux, yeah, we had to talk about that. You can go back and listen a few weeks ago.
We invent words here.
All right.
Excuse me, I'm leaking
So
from an Australian.
that was the first new moon in Aries, a very early degree. And now we're going to have pretty much the latest degree of Aries we can have, 29 degrees, 50 minutes.
Ooh.
So if it were 10 minutes later, it would be the Taurus new moon.
Yes, it would.
But it's not. It's Aries.
2 new moons, 1 month.
No.
Well, 1 star sign.
1 star sign. Yes.
Different month.
Different
Sorry.
month. It's
Sorry.
okay.
Sorry.
We're in
sorry.
April now. All right.
Lunation then. But no, can't be.
Just let him go.
Within a zodiac
just let him go.
Shut up already.
All right. So there are he's gonna go again. I
No,
know
I'm
it.
not.
I
I'm
know
not.
he's gonna go on a roll now.
I'm not.
There are different kinds of eclipses.
There are. This one's a hybrid. How you see it depends on where you're standing, but you always say you see from where you're standing. Pray continue. Pray continue. Come on. Come on. Get yourself together. Come on. We're a professional outfit.
my goodness. All right.
We're supposed to be doing a professional show here, ladies and gentlemen.
So
We are trying to educate you.
right.
Or not. So, you see from where you're standing. What
So,
kind
right.
of eclipses there are?
you're going to see all three kinds
Oh.
depending on where you are on the planet. That's why it's a hybrid. Some people will see that ring, the marriage of the god and goddess, the annular eclipse.
Annular.
So that's where that gold ring that may have been why in history put a ring on it.
That's kind of cool, isn't
Got
it?
married
Because you
to the
see
god
this
of
gold ring around a black middle. That's what you'll see in New
And
York State.
then people in Australia are going to have a total eclipse.
Southern Hemisphere, yeah, definitely.
And then it ends as a partial eclipse where we are over to the UK.
More European, penumbral, I think, which is a partial eclipse.
Right.
But annular is pretty cool. That's like, yeah. So it's interesting, yes. But the ecliptic, coming back to it, is called that because that's where eclipses occur. But it's the imaginary path that the sun tracks on the Earth's surface, and you've seen it almost looks like a kind of crazy sine wave, haven't you? Where that light and dark goes as the sun moves from tropic to tropic and crosses the equator at the equinox. Yeah. So that's the ecliptic. So when the moon and the sun coincides with the sun's ecliptic, or the Earth crosses the ecliptic in front of the moon, you will get an eclipse. So that's
I thought you were going to sing, "When the moon hits you, I like a big pizza pie." 'Cause it has.
What the hell is she? What did we have for breakfast?
It
was Earl Grey tea, wasn't it?
I don't know how
You've
you're
been
winding.
breaking out the vodka already.
All right, I'm just going to get back to my paper, and
the
he
hell
can
is-
do whatever he's going to do
Well,
today.
apparently, whatever.
All right.
Anyway, thank you for bearing with us, viewer. Normal service will be resumed just as soon as we figured
All
out
right.
what normal is.
But seriously,
This
this is a big deal. That's amore, absolutely. All right. So it is a very intense time, and I'm sure we've heard and felt and seen over these last 3 or 4 weeks that we are in this very intense time. This Aries time has been really powerful. Okay. And this new moon is a very powerful one. And new moons set intentions, right?
Yeah.
And they happen in a particular place for each person. So if you know anything about your natal chart, your birth chart, you could look for where the border of Taurus is, right? So between Aries and Taurus, you have that 29 degrees 50 minutes Aries coming into 0 degrees Taurus. And that is the place for you that's going to be triggered.
So where that occurs in your chart, so to speak.
Or like the button is pressed there. So if it was on your ascendant, you may be noticed more by others. If it's on your, in your second house, there may be a focus on money. Third house, communication. Fourth house, home, and so on. And then you would look to see if it was going to be touching any of the occupants in that house. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about. I'm just saying if people are into astrology, they want to go down rabbit holes, they could look for where 29 degrees Aries was. Okay. Can you read the next little?
Oh, I can. We've been missing lots and lots of comments, apart from people making fun of me. Poor Anna's been sick for a week and a half and feels as though she's waking up to a new world. So many things have been going on. Yes, while you were sleeping.
Yeah, right?
Kind of.
Exactly.
It's almost like that.
Yeah.
You blink now and you think, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
You know? What? Not enough breakfast, blah, 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 blah. But what if it's my sun sign? But what if it is your sun sign?
Well, when were you born? What day in Aries?
There is that.
So if
Go consult your chart.
you could just tell me what day you were born, and I can give you an idea of whether it's going to hit your sun or not. Right? If you were, when is your birthday? Whoever is saying
Savannah.
they're in Aries.
Savannah. You memorized everybody's birth chart,
No,
haven't
Savannah, you're Taurus, aren't you?
She is,
Are you
yeah.
the first couple of days of Taurus?
She might. I think she's 0 degrees Taurus, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be completely wrong. I think she's really, really early Taurus.
Well, then it's going to make a little difference for you.
No,
Taurus May 5th.
Oh well, no.
So no, not really. because it's probably going to be about 6. Oh, it's no.
She's like 8 degrees there, and on the 5th, and she's going to be 8 degrees into Taurus. I don't know.
Yeah, so
something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, not going to have a significant.
No,
effect.
you'd have to be like 0, 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
And Taurus changes around the 21st of April. So if you were born April 21st, 22nd, 23rd, or maybe even the 24th, this would involve your sun sign.
It's really interesting.
But do you want to look at
3 degrees? Is what do you call it? That arc of influence? Orb. There you go. Fancy word for you.
All right. Anyway. Right. So look, I'm only on the second line of my
notes.
Focus.
Come on, you've got things to cover.
Okay. So that spot is a demarcation, right? So 29 degrees, 50 minutes Aries, this new moon with the eclipse is a demarcation. It says, here, this is where it starts. This is what's going on. And eclipses will resonate until the next full moon or the next new moon. But this one in particular, we're going to probably feel for 6 months. Because Pluto is involved, right? So we know that we had said that Pluto is shifting signs from Capricorn into Aquarius. So Pluto is currently at 0 degrees Aquarius, making an out of sign square. Because if it was still at 29 degrees Capricorn, it would be making a perfect square.
An out of sign square.
But it's at 0 degrees, which is only 10 minutes for 2950 to 0. It's at 0 degrees Aquarius. And Pluto, in its journey throughout the rest of this year, is going to go retrograde. So it's hitting at 0. It's going to hit again at 29, 28. It's going to hit again at 29, 0. So for 6 months, we're going to see a reactivation, right? It says demarcation, trigger. It's going to hit it with this direct square at 29.
This is why Geraldine just said, bloody hell.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Bloody hell. That's probably well put. Actually.
So what we do on this eclipse is very important. So we know that new moons are a time of setting an intention. And while everything in the world seems to be going crazy because there is this intensity of change, right? Aries is the pioneer, and Pluto says destroy and recreate. And sometimes it's really, really hard to accept and adapt to a change.
Change is bad, especially if you're Taurus.
So the best thing we can do with this energy is harness that Aries, Mars, aggressive energy, harness it into something like bravery to accomplish something, right? Because Mars can give us that courage and bravery, right? Now, Mars is in Cancer, which has to do with the home, or we could look at it as our physical body, our temple. So this might be a time to focus on changes we want to make for our living arrangements or things that would feed our personal temple.
Not a bad idea.
Right? Also, Mars is very assertive, and Aries is very assertive.
You could say that. A little bit in your face. A little bit.
So set your intention. You've got a couple of days to think about what you want to mark. What do you want to initiate, right? Do you want to bring into your life, or do you want to be brave about? And while the whole world is going through this fierce uprooting and changing, it would be really great if we as spiritual people could focus on peace, love, joy,
Understanding.
happiness, all those things that Aquarius invites Pluto to do. Right? The age of Aquarius, the Aquarian energy of peace, love, and happiness. So if we could focus on the peace, love, and happiness and initiate that on this new moon, rather than focus on the chaos, panic,
I don't.
war kind of energy, we could maybe make a difference. Okay.
Can I throw 2 cents of digression in? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Well, it's not really a digression, but we were speaking last week about this, and boy, if the week that followed it didn't totally reinforce pretty much what we were
my
talking
goodness.
about, and it really does appear there's almost like there's this. Like, you know, some people resist change terribly, but change is the only constant. Change is happening around us whether we accept it or not. Nothing will ever remain the same, you know, because, you know, time moves on, knowledge moves on, viewpoints change, etc., etc., etc. But there's almost like there's this last bastion of extremism, of right-wing authoritarian extremism, which is all about us exerting our authority and telling people what they can and cannot do. And coming from people who espouse minimal government, I think it's ridiculous. And given that, you know, particularly as well, getting into the whole concept of reproductive rights, if you will, and bodily autonomy for women, it's like, you know, these people who claim themselves pro-life want to declare, you know, like, if you have an abortion, that should result in the death penalty. Where the chuff is the irony in that? You know,
Right.
it's just
Pro-life, but we're going to kill you.
Yeah, and it's just. It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. But it's like they're holding on by their toenails and fingernails onto
But you
something that's
understand
collapsing.
that
it's
we
not-
are kind of going to do that reset or retrograding, reliving the late 60s, 70s. You can see so many parallels, and we talked about
There
that
is,
at the
yeah.
beginning of the year. You could go
It's-
back and listen to the first couple of...
It's insane. You know, our philosophy on life is dead simple. It really is. It's just, you know, respect for all living things and taking responsibility for your own actions. That's pretty much it. And yet there are so many people at the moment saying, but it's not so many. It's actually a very small but nonetheless significant minority that unfortunately are in power and have gotten themselves in a place in power where they're trying to impose their radical will on everybody else. You know, if you're against abortion, don't have one.
Listen,
you know?
this isn't a political show.
It's not, but it's you can't help but go there. You know, it is a sign of our times, and the times they are a changing. So, you know, we've been here. Bob Dylan said that in the 60s. The times they are a changing.
Oh, yeah.
They are. So,
But this is a very powerful week. The other thing I'd like to point out is that new moon eclipses or solar eclipses focus on masculine energy.
well, sun,
right?
yeah.
The moon is in the same sign as the sun. And many times there's a huge change regarding a male in your life or a masculine type energy, right? If we think of projective energy, war, release, all the things that we could think about that have to do with that forward or future energy, where full moon eclipses can eclipse a woman out of your life or a feminine type energy, which would have to do with maybe the home, where the new moon could have to do with career, things like that.
Right.
So
Expect some changes.
expect some changes and, you know, do the Gandhi thing. Be the change you want to see. So what is it that you want to put into action? So we have to remember, like, the I am words for the signs, right?
So powerful.
So Aries is I am. It's about me. I. I'm first, I'm here, I want, I need, I'm going, I'm doing, I'm going to move.
Mm-hmm.
And Aquarius is about that kind of I am unique. I am focused on where I fit in and how I fit in. So, again, even though it's an out of sign square, it's very powerful between the eclipse and Pluto. And really think about the intention that you want to set and focus on, bravery and love. And it's really, really a time that feels very Uranian, doesn't it? Like chaos, panic, and disorder. My work here is done.
It's about the size of it.
All right.
But you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. You
Right.
can't. It's necessary sometimes to transform something, and it can be an ugly process. That transformation can be quite ugly, quite chaotic, and sometimes quite downright painful. But I honestly believe that getting the other side of it, which inevitably we will, the world will be a better place as a result of it. I think there's that general paradigm shift from, it's all about me and my rights into it's all about us and our responsibilities. And I think that is such a beautiful thing if we can actually get there without killing one another. Anyway.
All right. So going back to what I was saying, Aries, I am. Aquarius, how do I fit in? These changes that if we focused on peace and love and use that Aries energy for bravery, we can see that this eclipse may end something. But there is no ending without a new beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So is there something that you want to reset? Is there something that you want to, turn the switch on? Is there something that you want to be personally brave about and courageous about and really start that new thing happening? All right? So we're going to, as personally, we will probably feel this energy from now until the full moon, which happens to be the flower moon, on May the 5th.
Meow.
Right? So that's going to be the Scorpio full moon in the time of Taurus on May 5th.
Scorpio.
Savannah, May 5th. That's your intense moon, right? You have a Scorpio full moon on your birthday. Very close to 15 degrees Scorpio, which is Beltane or Callan Mai. Now, the only disturbance that
She
I
has
can
a Scorpio
see,
moon. How about that? So
Well,
she's got a lunar return on her birthday.
you have
Savannah is Taurus.
right. So she
and-
has Sun Moon opposition in her chart.
How interesting.
All right. I don't know though the degrees. Again, I'm getting distracted.
Sorry, awfully sorry. Moving on.
Now let me recap again because I actually have a flow to what I'm trying to say. How about if I touch your knee when
Please.
I'm finished with
Please
this little
touch
bit
my
of a
knee. That's
section,
perfectly fine.
and then you can go on your tangent. Jesus.
It's just not fair.
Really what this is about is using what's in our toolbox to work towards our personal destiny, right? We want to use what's in our toolbox to work towards our future. So an eclipse can be an ending, but there is no ending without a new beginning. The only thing we have to watch out for is Mercury, that is going to be retrograde on the 21st. So we need to do our new moon work. Yeah, we are a comedy team. We've been married way too long.
Focus.
We need to do our new moon work before that Mercury retrograde, because while we're working towards the full moon, Mercury's going to be retrograde in Taurus. And Mercury will be retrograde April 21st through May 14th, making communication and things very, very tricky. So set your intention and let it go before Mercury tries to make things crazy. And I'd like to also point out that Mercury works its way through an element. So we'll see Mercury retrograde in Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn this year. But we're really, really in for a wild couple of weeks right now through the end of May, really, because we have to get out of Mercury's shadow. So go for it now. What do you want to talk
Mercury retrograding in signs of Earth. This means, yes, heavy stuff.
Stability.
Heavy stuff.
Protection,
breaks.
Stability.
There,
what can you
it,
think
got the
about for
t-shirt.
Earth? Your roots. There's a thing.
It is.
Uproot change.
It is, yeah, but I say that, change is difficult for a lot of people because we, even if it's change for the better, because I think sometimes we get comfortable in our, we know that our circumstances around us may not be perfect, things could be so much better if, I'm sure, but somehow we get kind of comfortable with where we are, and we sort of like allow ourselves to settle and say, oh, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Yeah, people are a lot worse off than we are. It's not so bad.
Well,
but I think this is the time where we've got that challenge through Mars and Aries right now.
Definitely be grateful for all that you have, but how can you improve it?
Fear is what holds us back a lot of the time. Fear is what holds us up. What if? Oh my God, what if this? And we start to worry, and we do that. Worrying is manifestation in reverse. But I think what we're being asked to do is harness that energy of Mars.
Absolutely.
To be brave. Not to say don't be fearful. You're going to be fearful. But, bravery is in the face of fear. Mm-hmm. In the face of fear, you do it anyway. So you accept the fear and you say, but I'm going to do it because the benefit outweighs the risk. And that's the thing, and I think altruism is one of these things. This is a magnificent thing. This is the, if you will, the really positive side of the Aryan hero journey, that altruistic thing that I will be prepared
they're the pioneer, and they will go out on your behalf.
Yeah, we will lead. We will, bags of smoke straight up the middle. We'll overcome this, rather than, oh, it's not so bad. Let's stay here and, get snuffed out, so it's like sometimes we all need to find that, we go through every single sign in the zodiac just in the course of 1 year of our lives, and our sun may be somewhere, our ascendant may be somewhere, our moon may be somewhere else, but we can all harness the available astrological energies that surround us and use it for our good. And if we use it for good, you can do good things. You can do incredible, amazing things, Those two words, they're the most powerful words in the English language. I am. I am. That's not maybe. It's not I deserve. It's not I could. It's not perhaps. It's not I wish. It's I am. It's a declaration. Mm-hmm. It's a declaration. And when you identify with that energy and you declare it and you own it, you become it. You become it. So just, bear that in mind. Yeah, some things aren't easy, but, faint heart never won fair lady, as they say. You have to have that courage. I didn't have a faint heart, did I? Yeah.
Right. So if you don't have like a daily mantra,
you should.
You can focus. First of all, obviously be grateful for everything that you have already manifested this year, because we've seen, the past 3 years have been all about change, but these past couple of months have really intensified that, especially these past few weeks. So be grateful for all that you have overcome, acquired, gained, those kind of things. But good little mantras to stop you throughout the day. When you feel that challenge, when you feel that pressure, stop for a second and say, I choose love. I choose joy. I choose peace. I choose happiness, right? So if you're entering into a situation, whether it's a miscommunication because of the Mercury retrograde, or a hostile force because of the Mars Aries thing, or a big push for change because of Pluto, or whatever it is, just stop and say, I choose love. I choose joy. I choose bravery. I choose happiness. Whatever positive thing you can, inject in there so that you don't end up getting sucked into the heavy stuff.
I know. I think people think we should start a comedy show. Well, we do mention in the little blurb for this podcast, you may just have, laugh until your ribs hurt, which is good, because humour fixes much. It really does.
Well, yeah, no,
when things
I choose laughter.
When you're chewing on life's gristle, just purse your lips and whistle.
Oh, now we're doing Python.
Well, no, it is. But yeah, everything under the sun is in tune, but the sun is eclipsed by the moon. Ha ha ha. Which it is, quoting Pink Floyd again. But it is interesting.
Right. Yeah. Now. Next Monday.
But wait, there's more.
Next Monday night, we're going to do our free reading extravaganza thing again. Oh. And then the following Monday night, we're going to do like a QVC at the store.
QVC telly time.
It'll be Magickal Monday Market.
Oh, the Magickal Market.
Yeah, we'll do a Magickal Market like once a month because so many people have not had the time to come in. No. And there's so much new stuff and so many people live far away.
That's true too.
So we're going to do a little bit of a spotlighting and Magickal Monday Market probably the first Monday.
Can we have pyrotechnics?
No.
Oh.
And the last Monday we're going to try to do the free reading thing because we, again, we're spread so thin.
We
you see finally when we get the next barn video up.
Oh my goodness gracious me! And on that note, talk about change. So much. We planted out. Lisa's been working her butt off on the gardens for Teen Hodver. And our idea is to be able to do this whole, literally farm to table
kind of thing,
food preservation, growing by sun, moon, and stars, and all that fun stuff. So we've got to start. We've got to start those gardens. So basically, we've been starting them, and I think you grew something like 900 and whatever.
We planted over 900 cells. Yeah.
But the potatoes. It's good because I love potatoes. But you wouldn't believe it.
Last night.
We put them in the ground in a grow bag, and they were on the pallet grow bags. These are because they're easy and manageable, and she'll tell you all about that because that's her gig. I do technology badly, but I do technology.
He shovels well though.
Former Royal Engineer, that's all I'm saying. Of course I shovel well, but yeah, just the change. We just looked out the bathroom window, and it's like, wow. 6 inches overnight.
That much over top of the grow bag already. Boop.
So things are coming along. And
peaches are blooming. The pear is blooming.
I'm so excited to grow our own peaches. I chuff and love peaches. I really do.
Right. This is no small garden.
No, it's not.
It's about 1/5 of an acre, maybe.
But it's an intense food forest.
It is. We have
what it is.
2 peach trees, 2 pear trees, a plum tree, 3 apple trees. 7 elder trees, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, gooseberries, strawberries.
A lot of strawberries.
And then we have 50 grow bags and 11 birdie raised beds. So we're doing tomatoes and peppers and potatoes and peas and beans and carrots and fennel and parsnips and cucumbers and all those kind of vegetable things, tons of lettuce, and then we're also doing herbs, and I have 120 teeny tiny chamomiles.
So we also, yesterday, because we did our little clean up around Circle, it was thank you everybody that came out and so kindly gave your time to help tidy up and rake up.
Get ready for Beltane. Yeah.
So it's a few little bits of our lavender, and we've got this lavender that blooms twice a year in front of the store.
That we use when we sell crystals, we put lavender in them.
Exactly. So we're hoping to be able to start making our own essential oils at some point, but we need a lot more of it, obviously. And, rather than sweep it away, the things that got broken off, Lisa very carefully trimmed them all up carefully and then used
organic root hormone.
Yeah, root hormone, and so hopefully we're going to have another 16 lavender plants that cloned from our lavender there. So fingers crossed.
We'll see if it happens. I know lavender is
I know where she's learned all this
lavender
stuff.
Is a really tricky plant to grow.
It's difficult to grow, but once it's established, it's pretty
the ones
tough,
out in front are doing really well. The one by the door, I think we got 3 blooms out of last year because it's really much older and established. And then the newer ones, we got 2. But I want to have, organic things like that for teas and tinctures and salves and, all that kind of stuff. So we have chamomile and mullein and wormwood and hyssop and, we're really getting into all the herbs.
Savannah, it's one of the only flowers I'm allergic to. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, lavender.
Lavender. That's a bummer, isn't it? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I guess we all have allergies.
How do you do with rosemary?
Yeah.
Can you eat rosemary? Because they're in the same.
They're same family. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are in the same
They're
family.
both really tricky to grow.
In fact, I learned that in Herbe de Provence, Herbe de Provence, very fancy. There is lavender in that, is there
French
not?
wonder herb, yeah.
Yeah.
What'd she say?
She says, I can't wait to see the new teas you make. Well, there you go. Lavender may be one of them. So avoid that one.
You'll be able to tell.
No, full disclosure, we put the ingredients on the back. We're not just, we can't remember what we put in there.
Yeah,
no. Totally fine with rosemary. Well, there's a fancy
that's cool.
thing.
All right,
That's
good.
Interesting.
All right, so now channel members get a card.
Yes, they do.
So let's go all the way back and see
let's
who was
see who we
first.
got, because we've got a ton. Who was here first? And guys, there's more of you watching that have clicked the like button. So if you wouldn't mind just obliging us, hit that like button.
Gilda's
Maybe
card.
share this as well.
Gilda's
Gilda.
card.
Oh, nice one, Gilda. That'll do you.
All right, this is lovely. This is really like a promise of a happy family and a promise of a solid relationship. So I'm going to say your new moon intentions are going to be more like promises that you're making to yourself that are going to come to fruition.
She's got a lobster somewhere, isn't
All right,
she?
now you do the next person.
All right. Well, the next person was Savannah.
Okay, you pick
All
a
right.
card for
Let's
Savannah.
see if we can find a card for Savannah. And we've got, love. You're still fretting it, aren't you? You're still fretting it.
Oh, she's house prisoner.
I can understand that. I can understand that. But again, I really want to just refer you back to what we were talking about earlier. Your energy goes where you focus. What you focus on comes into focus. So you're going to have to be a little more regimented with your thinking, my love, and really focus on, I am well. I am healthy. I am capable. Each day I am getting better. And so long as you hold that focus there, you're going to start to see the results there. I know it's tough. I know it's painful right now. I know you're suffering a bit, but really try and focus on the good, and that's going to improve. Seriously, it's going, and polish yourself up a bit. Maybe get a haircut and whatever. Something just to make yourself feel, oh, I'm pretty.
Yeah, he's been bugging me about a haircut.
Well, you do, but come on, you haven't had one in years.
I haven't had a
bless
haircut
you.
since 2019.
Oh,
All right.
bless.
Anna, I think, is next, right?
Anna is next, yes.
Oh. King of Swords. This is usually some sort of minor legal thing or some sort of contract. So if you do have some big thing to sign, try to sign it before the 21st, or make the intention that it is finishing up old business, because you don't want to sign a new contract during Mercury retrograde. But I do think that you're right. You're kind of coming into this new awakening, or this new space, or this new place to grow. And this is the Libra card, so it's all about finding that balance between whatever it is you're working on, like the mundane and the spiritual, or work life, home life, whatever it is you're trying to balance. I feel like there's a good contract for you to be able to balance.
I think the next person up is Helena Rose.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here. Oh. I like this card. Now, not to let the rabbit out the hat, or give away all the secrets, but Lisa and I, you may know, are working on a tarot deck right now.
It's the High Priestess.
There is so much in this card if you look closely. But that's the message I think the High Priestess brings. You know, asking the right questions. The information's there. Asking the right questions, and asking the right questions can quite simply be, how are you looking at things? You know, in the words of Sherlock Holmes, you see but you do not observe. You know, maybe, you know, one of our great spiritual teachers, and Tammuz, who sadly is no longer with us, really brought home that message. You know, look and you'll see. Look again and you'll see more. Look again and you'll see more. So don't just take things on their initial first appearance, if you will. Look deeper, you know. Ponder, contemplate, consider, you know. Not everything is immediately as it appears, nor is it necessarily otherwise, but there are subtleties in nuance. And learning that understanding, I think, is going to be profoundly beneficial to your spiritual growth. Yeah, and this really is about, you know, the card of definite spiritual growth here for me, particularly. So there you go.
It's going to be at least another year, Gilda.
Can we pre-order the tarot deck? I haven't got a clue how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, no.
It's going to take a little while yet. We're
Well, I
getting
think
there.
we're about a third of the way.
Maybe even a little more. Maybe
Well,
even
there's
a little more.
Lot
More narrative to go. But,
All right.
but it's
so
coming.
this is
It's
our
coming.
card for the week, and we'll both read this.
Aha! Perception is everything.
Yeah. So this is the Seven of Swords, and she thinks she's trapped, but she's not. She is going through some sort of initiation, and she's dressed in red. So I think that this week is... You don't think she's dressed in red? You
No,
think
it's
that's
the 8,
orange?
not the 7.
Oh, it's the 8. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say,
8 of Swords.
you discounted a sword there.
I've discounted a sword. Anyway, she's going through some sort of initiation, or this character is going through some sort of initiation. And I think we all are going to be initiated in the initiation of this change. So swords are challenges, changes are challenges. And again, my advice is to stop, take a deep breath, and make a choice. Nope, I'm not going to get into this with this person. I choose peace. Nope, I am not going to get myself into a place of fear. I choose love. Nope, I am not going to erupt and explode about this. I choose happiness. You know, all these things are a choice. We just have to learn how to make them.
Absolutely, no, I agree. Again, you know, you can't help but note this is a perception card, because on the face of it, superficially, because that's what on the face of it means, superficially, on the face of it, prima facie, or superficially. This appears that this is a blindfold and bound woman stood on a tidal flat with the tide out, surrounded by a prison of swords. In theory, or superficially, it doesn't look good. But when you look just a little bit closer, you'll see there are no knots that hold the binds. A simple shrug, they fall away. Lift the blindfold, the swords do not ensnare her at all. She can just simply walk out of there. And so, yeah, perception is key, but perception is how we determine our reality.
You see from where you're standing.
You see from where you're standing, and that's how we're going to see the eclipse as well. So from where we're standing.
Intense couple of weeks.
So this is about your perception shapes things. So if you can perceive things in a different way, look a little closer. You know, don't just take things superficially. Look a little closer, look a little deeper, and have the courage to know that discretion is the better part of valor. Ooh, that sounds a bit fancy, doesn't it? But it is sometimes running headlong into a situation, unnecessarily sacrificing yourself, you know, is not the way to win the war, let alone the battle, you know. Sometimes it is better to just step back and hold it for another day, you know, and not allow events or circumstance to drag you into a place where you don't want to be. And I think, you know, this energetically this week is predisposed to that. So just be mindful of it, because forewarned is forearmed.
Right,
in my mind.
And we do have to remember some of the other things that we said, you know, last week, that in our lifetime we have not seen Pluto in this position. We have not in our lifetime seen Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius.
Unless
Remember
you're like
we talked-
120 years old, you know?
284 years old.
284 years old.
Right?
Okay.
So we said we haven't seen Pluto in this position in our lifetime. Remember we looked back at 17...
Oh, God, yeah.
Right? So this is new territory. And then, the chances of it being square to an eclipse, but again, it's an out of sign square. So sometimes we don't always think, when we're thinking quickly as astrologers, we think, oh, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, there's no square. But 29 degrees will square 0 degrees.
Because you got that orb, as you say, that magical 3-degree sphere of influence.
So there's that intensity of Aries Mars. There's that intensity of Aquarius, which brings in Uranus Saturn into the Pluto energy. There's a lot that I could say, but we only have an hour. But I think what I really want to drive home is that stop, breathe, make a choice.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Right? Stop, breathe, make a conscious choice. This isn't going to affect me in a negative way. I choose love. I'm not going to get drawn into this drama. I choose peace. Right? We can make a conscious choice. And if we do that, we can send out that vibration of that kind of bravery and calm and, peacefulness, because I cannot even imagine what's going to happen in the world in this next month.
It's interesting times, that Chinese curse, isn't it? But we play for the good team here.
Yes, we all do.
So all of us here that have chosen to gather here at this time, we're the ones who can make a very real difference in this world simply by our own little sphere of influence. And it's the little things that make the massive differences. It really is, if enough of us can do it. And on that note, and coming back to shameless plugs for our, our end game is to get Celtica going. But in order to do that, we need to raise a bunch of money. And in order to raise a bunch of money, we need to be
for sale that we really need to acquire.
There is. We need a bunch. We need to be better known. So our sphere of influence extends into more people, so we can affect more change. And you guys, especially you guys that have joined our sweep team, can really, really help us.
Spread the word.
So anything that you see by us, a post, particularly things like the Tarot for Monday, particularly this. The Tarot for tomorrow, particularly things like Magickal Monday, which is what you're watching now. Please make part of your routine sharing that to your social media, wherever it is you interact on social media. Whatever it is, Twitter or Facebook or
help build our profile so more people see us, and then maybe somebody who is a philanthropist, who would like to make a larger donation, will find it to be a good cause, because many times the people who are going to make larger donations do it to charities that are well known. Right?
Yeah, we're a little bit obscure, and we admit that. But you guys have the ability to
drive us forward,
to help us remedy our problem of lack of social influence. Blatantly obscure we are. Yeah. There's a story about that, but that's a story for another day. So yeah, if you guys aren't yet channel members and you're watching this, please contemplate doing that. If you're a customer of the store, you're going to get your money back in Karma Rewards. Which is fabulous. So it costs you nothing. You're going to have that money, to shop in the store and all that fun stuff. And it doesn't matter where in the world you are, because we ship all over the world. We just sent Carriage went out yesterday to Spain. She's off to sunny Spain. Wish I was.
And Taliesin will be out in about a week's time. So if you want to pre-order a Taliesin,
that's
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and that's a bit of visionary stuff going on there, because how do you depict the radiant
brow? But I think we've done a pretty good job. I think it'll be well received.
So yeah, but But please, with you know, polished brass knobs on it and all
comment,
that stuff.
subscribe,
Like,
share.
comment, subscribe, share the bejeebers out of us all over the place. If you can become a channel member, please do help
And
support
again,
that.
just let our videos play in the background while you're doing something else. It really does help to build our watch hours.
It does, because we need to be less of a well-kept secret to make Celtica happen, and you guys can help there. So please do. We thank you. Preview of Taliesin available, not at this time, but very, very soon. Cassie says thanks.
The birth of her first grandchild, a boy, May the 10th. Congratulations.
I thought you were way too young to be a grandmother. What are you
Wow, that's intense news. That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Oh.
The Taliesin statue I can tell you about, but we don't have any pictures as of yet because, of course, the Awen. All right, so if you can imagine like a standing stone, and on the front of the standing stone you see Caradwyn's hands and a down-facing Awen. In front of that is a movable piece like Breed's anvil that has a cauldron with a little fire underneath of it. It's painted to look like a little fire. And the Awen pointing upward. The back of the stone has the animals from the chase and an empty coracle. So it's beautiful. It's
hard to describe, but you're gonna love it. Yeah, it's definitely monolithic, and it's a way of pictorially, depicting the story. It depicts
like
the story of
Awen,
Taliesin, you know?
right? Because that is Taliesin, the radiant brow, and you couldn't make Taliesin male or female because Taliesin is in all of us. We are all the radiant brow. It's Awen. It's the birth of that energy. So yeah, it's to me it depicts that moment of awakening.
The original initiation, if you will, the birth of Awen, which is the birth of time itself.
Yeah.
You know, the point of origin, which is kind of cool. So it's really cool. Yeah. Well, guys, as soon as we have our first living prototype of it, we'll
bring
share
it on
it
the
with
show.
you.
Yeah.
We'll bring it on the show.
Or maybe we'll have it for Monday's market.
Maybe there might be some,
because that's 2 weeks from today. So
yeah, well, it depends, because
I know have at least our prototype by then.
Our sculptor Joe's had his challenges, poor guy,
He's
as
been
well.
having
And
some health issues, but he's okay.
He's on the
He's
mend.
working away, and I know that we're going to get some very soon. I think we had 6 people already order one sight unseen.
Sight unseen. Oh, put me down for
Well,
that.
they want their number. They
Put
want
me
their
down for
number. So that's all good. All right, everybody.
Well, thank you.
Believe it or not, that's
so
an hour.
much. Yeah, actually, somewhat over an hour. So yeah, I'm learning so much by going back and watching all your videos. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Cass. Yeah.
We're loving this podcast.
A lot of energy goes into preparing for them, and that's what we really are about. We want to share. We have been in service to the old gods for 30 years, right? The store will be 30 years old the end of May. So it's what we've done for our, adult life.
Well,
and,
most of it. Although
well,
I'm
yeah.
not sure I'm an adult yet either.
All right. Well, anyway.
That's it.
And it is about trying to make the planet better and trying to help people. And I don't know. I don't want to be on a soapbox, but if everybody could be like first degree in Reiki, or if everybody could be like a first degree witch, the planet would be
fixed entirely, completely.
There'd be no more of this
That's
bullshit,
Anyway, on that note, happy, joy. Now, we wish you an absolutely beautiful
peace,
day.
Choose love. Choose happiness.
Love.
Choose
Exactly
joy.
so. and do like, comment, subscribe, and pimp us all over the place. All right.
Have a blessed week, everyone. Take care.
Have a beautiful day. See you next time.
What did Anna say last?
The available guided meditations are a lifesaver for the one who is sick,